Hello. In one of my recent videos, I showed teachers how they could create a Google form and use it for as an assessment, like a quiz or a test for classes. And we designed the test and I showed you how to share it with them. Today, I'd like to show you taking the responses from that Google form and using an add-on, have the computer grade those tests for you. So this is the test that we had created. And I want you to see up here responses. I now have seven. Seven students have responded to the test. If I click up here, I can see how those responses went. I have first names, last names, and then I start getting information. It's very valuable as a teacher. All the information is taken and charted for me. In multiple choice, they use pie charts. In the check boxes, it use a bar graph. And this information is very valuable. I can see in this question, 71.4% of the students answered correctly. This question, and then 28.6 answered incorrectly. But there was only two choices that were always selected. In this case, I can see that all four responses were selected by a student at some point. As a teacher, I can be reflective and say, okay, I see that most of the students got this answer right. They understood the concept being taught, but there's still a number of students who didn't get the correct answer. And since they all chose the same answer, I need to go back and clarify what the difference is between these two concepts. In this question down here, I can see that all four choices were selected and fairly evenly in their choices. So I need to go back and look, did I have a poorly worded question? Was it a concept that I missed teaching? Or did I just not do a quality clarifying job distinguishing between these ideas? Down here where the check boxes, you can see the bar graphs, and then the open-ended responses, I can see what each person sent. So now to get the computer to grade it, I come up here and I create a Google Sheets. All the information will be taken and put into a spreadsheet for me. It's called Literary Elements Test Responses. That's how it'll be saved in my drive. And this is when they took the test. Here's what they gave for their names, class period. Here's the question. Here are the answers that were selected. And I can see this for each student. To get the add-on that's going to help us grade, we go to add-ons, get add-ons, and it's called Flubaroo, Flubaroo. Here it is. It is free. It is for educators. And it's asking me permission to access some of this information, which I am fine. Allow. And now Flubaroo has been added that I can use this on any Google Sheet that I have in my files. I'm ready to grade. I go to Flubaroo and I'm ready to grade the assignment. I'd already graded it once. And it's going to go through and ask me a series of questions. These were all the questions I asked on a test. And it does a pretty good job of knowing if it's just in identifying information, like in this case, a first name is not going to get graded because it's identifying a student, last name, class period. And then the questions, it's going to use normal grading. I can change the point value for that question. So if I want to do some questions that are 2 points or 4 points. And then down here, because when was the Declaration of Independence, I want to grade that one by hand. I might be a little more lenient. And I'm going to change that to a 3-point response. This was an open-ended 5 words I was looking for. I clicked down, grade by hand. I made it 5 points. And this was a paragraph response, so I'm going to grade it by hand. I made it 10 points, and I hit continue. Now it's going to ask me who has the right answers. So to make this easiest, I sent the test to myself, and I took the test. And I scroll down, I find me, and I'm going to say this is the person that has the right answers. And I hit continue. And it grades my assignment for me, except for the ones that I have grade by hand. There's a plethora of information available in the news sheet that is tabbed over here. I see there were 26 possible points. The average so far is 4.67, but once I grade by hand, that will increase. There were 6 submissions because the 7th one was mine. Again, here's the names, the class periods, how many points did they earn out of those 26 points? Here's their percentage grade. Just like in the pie charts, I can gather some really great information. If any of this questions scored less than 75% right, it highlights them in orange for me. And again, I can take a look. Was it a poorly worded question? Was it something that I had missed teaching? Or is it just a challenging question? If I scroll over here, I can see that here are my 3 open-ended that I said I was going to grade by hand. So to grade by hand, I go to add-ons in Flubaroo, and I have grade questions by hand right here. And now it'll bring up the student and the declaration. Here's the question I'm grading right now, and this was his response. I can enter how many points he earned, and it automatically applies that into the chart. I go to the next student, and she had a pretty good answer. I'll give her 3 points. Move on to the next one. She has a completely incorrect answer, so setting the grade. And I can do that with each one. I can then move to the next question, which was the 5-word response. And here is the response she gave, which was not part of the story, so she'll receive 0 points. It saves. Grade has been applied. I'm ready to move to the next student. That was pretty close to one of the choices. That was one of the choices, but it's not the best choice, so I'll give half credit for that one. Set the grade, and I can see it has been applied. For the paragraph response, it's the same exact way, but you can see, you can read all of it here. When I'm doing the grades for paragraphs, a lot of times I want to let them know what did they get right and what were they missing. I can enter a note here, and it adds it into the response sheet. Give them 8 points. Set grade, and for right now, I'm just going to close out. And you can see the grades were added into here, and then it also improved the percentage points that they earned because they were starting to earn points. You can see the average points increased. So when I finish grading them all, that will help that grade also. So I think that's the basics of Flubaroo, and it's a very useful tool and allows me more instructional time and planning time than if I just graded by hand. I hope this is helpful. Thank you. Have a great day.